The Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games, with one of the reasons being that very few of the quests feel frivolous, like a simple fetch quest. My first RPG, Baldur's Gate, has like 6 of them in the first 15 minutes, and even relatively recent games like the Mass Effect series are chock full of these annoying nuggets of hollow busywork. But full transparency, The Witcher 3 has fetch quests too, they just hide them in plain sight. And to understand how, let's analyze a quest you likely encounter while riding from the NilfGaardian garrison back to White Orchard. Precious cargo. During this quest, Geralt comes upon a lone figure sitting at a fire. The guy babbles about his horse being dragged into the muck by monstrosities and pleads for Geralt to recover a box of swords.
Monsters from the swamp! Folk said the road was fraught with peril, but I wouldn't listen. I'm most concerned about a little box.
Geralt goes and investigates the swamp and quickly learns there is more to the story. He recovers the box and then has to decide what to do with it. Just give back the box for payment or confront this goofball with his lies. So, like I said, this is a fetch quest, but for it to play out like a simple fetch quest, you kind of have to try really hard to mess up the quest. As in, you have to find the box without also finding the evidence of the murders and lies. If you do this, then you just go back to this guy and return the box and get this very simple conversation.
Oh, and you find the box?
A little wet, but intact.
At last, fortune smiles my way. Yours as well, Witcher. Here, the gold I promised you.
So this feels like one of those 80s sitcoms that has such a sugary, sweet, and schmaltzy ending.
A little wet, but intact.
And even the journal entry upon completing the quest in this way sounds like Dandelion is kind of mocking the situation for being so morally unambiguous. So yeah, you could totally do this quest like it's a traditional fetch quest. It just is like the game is making fun of you for doing so. Thankfully, if you do the quest the way it's intended, it's far more interesting and layered. Geralt would in fact find the evidence of violence in the bog, and then most likely fight some drowners in what can kind of serve as a tutorial to the most common minion you face in this game. I will never really laud the gameplay mechanics of The Witcher 3. I think it's probably the weakest part of this game, but this fight is decent. It's atmospheric, it's kind of creepy in this swampy muck. But does anyone actually care about that? No, I think everyone just cares about what happens to this liar. The guy who mentioned that his horse was eaten by a monster, but didn't mention that that monster was actually an arrow through the throat. And when Geralt does confront him about it, it is hilariously juicy.
Yeah, found your priceless chest. And someone who looks an awful lot like a cart driver with an arrow through his neck.
So Geralt sees right through this guy's lies, which is key in setting him up as this awesome tracker, and also key in setting up how he does not fall for this guy pulling a Marty McFly on him.
What the hell is that? Watch out! Behind you!
There's nothing behind me. I'm a witcher, I'd have heard it. Just like I can hear your heart, which is pounding. Like a liar's. Best hope you're a better rider than you are a liar.
And then we go straight from comedic genius to abject horror as we learn how to chase people while riding on a horse. And while I think it's kind of cool that you get some of these tutorials in side content, this part is awful. Riding Roach is already pretty nightmarish, and riding him and trying to fight other enemies, good God. But as bad as that was, it's more than made up for when you see just how unfetch questy this fetch quest actually is.
Private First Class John Giermer, Temerian 6th Division, 2nd Regiment. That was a medical transport. I'd be damned if it reached the Black Ones. And the medicine, our lads could use it too.
So this quest is way more nuanced than a simple fetch quest now, and it culminates with Geralt having to decide between 3 options of what to do with this box of medicine. And what this does is it takes this very simple task and makes it into an incredibly intriguing bit of lore and world building. But the other thing that Precious Cargo does is it potentially plays on the player's emotions, particularly if they played The Witcher 2, and especially if they sided with Vernon Roach and the Northern Kingdoms. If you did that, then one of these choices feels way more tempting than the others.
Fine, go. And may you and your soldier buddies hiding in the bushes be victorious in your struggle against NilfGaard.
But while that might satisfy you based on stuff from a previous game, it might also leave you completely unsatisfied because Private First Class John Gierner is a complete tool. Between the lying, the cowardice, the murder, the racism, the potential war crimes, and forcing me to do that stupid horse riding section 3 separate times because there are 3 separate decisions in this quest, does this guy actually deserve to get what he wants? So you can be petty and get back at Gierner in 2 ways. One, you can report him to the NilfGaardians, which will end up with him being executed.
I'm taking you to the NilfGaardians. You're a murderer, not a soldier.
And you're a traitor.
And Geralt justifies sucking up to Nilfgaard in this way very eloquently.
Gotta say, I was kind of counting on a tangible token of gratitude. A golden, clinky one, in fact.
Now, this seems like an appropriate punishment given all the buffoonery this guy has been up to, and Geralt is getting paid. However, the guards do drop this little bit of information.
Yes. Corporal Lifned set out to command headquarters for medicine. He has yet to return, though he was due back several days ago.
So that murder victim was a soldier, not a civilian, which is what I'd always assumed. And while killing medics and medical transport drivers during wartime is probably very frowned upon, I don't see Geralt as being this riled up over this. I mean, the only thing that actually happened to him is that Gierner treated him like a schmuck.
Watch out! Behind you!
So even though death seems justified for this dude, I chose the third option. Let him go, but don't give him the box. Like, in my head, this feels like the option that results in essentially nothing changing. If you hadn't run into this quest giver on the road, this guy wasn't going to go into that bog and find this box. That guy was scared shitless. He wasn't going to go in there with those drowners. So neither the Temerian guerrillas or the Nilfgaardian soldiers were going to get that medicine. Plus, Gierner says the box has medicine in it, but do we really know what's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Now, even if this quest ended with this twist, I don't actually think this decision is anything special. In fact, I think it's one of the less interesting ones in the game. It kind of feels like a hollow way to choose between Nilfgaard, the Northern Kingdoms, or neither. Like, I am not moved emotionally by this quest.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
I have no soul. But I don't have to be moved emotionally. Sometimes I just want a quest to play with my expectations, and Precious Cargo definitely plays with those expectations. It started as a super simple fetch quest, but expanded to include lies, murder, world building, and some connective tissue with the prior game in the series. In short, this is why The Witcher 3's fetch quests are way better than the competition's. So thanks for watching. If you liked this as much as I liked it, please like and subscribe. If you liked it not as much as I liked it, also please like and subscribe. And if you disliked it, I would say also like and subscribe. I don't see why not. Geralt had 3 choices in this quest, so you get 3 choices in this quest. What the hell, Geralt? I'm not lying. Yeah, I call this a quest, and that's not really true, but I was just trying to make a really bad analogy.
Best hope you're a better writer than you are a liar.
Watch out behind you!
There's nothing behind me. I'm a witcher, I'd have heard it.